Hi everyone, and welcome to the next session and video. Today we'll be talking about data visualization. This will be quite a short video where I'll just briefly talk about different inspiration sources for data visualizations. Because actually quite often you end up with, if you use data visualization in practice, you will end up with some data that you need to communicate to people. And there's not always like a super clear way or like what's the best way of visualizing this data to show to people, and different forms can work very differently, also differently well. So often it's also usually worth trying some different approaches. But here I have some sources that you can go to at least, I don't know, just see some different options to then just come up with whatever works best for you. And you already see here on the title slide, this is a screenshot taken from DataViz.com, which usually is my go-to website because it's neatly organized by different types of variables. So at the top you have a selection of what kind of data you have at hand, and then depending on like more detailed questions, you will end up with one of these options of how to visualize your data. So this is, for example, for continuous data, and then if you just have one continuous variable, you can do a histogram or a density estimate, and then if there's some other variables involved, it gets a bit more complicated. You have different options, and this can be really, really helpful if you just have like, this is my data, what can I do with it? And you really can just go to this website and kind of look your way through. And if you click on the bubbles here, you will also get a brief explanation with a pop-up and then a link to like a gallery with more options of graphs. So really, in my opinion, really, really useful resource to know. So here's, I want this double triggers all the time. So here's a overview list. So first, DataViz, as I just talked about. Then there's DataVizInspiration.com, which, if I recall correctly, is where the screenshot on the right is taken from. So this is a bit less structured. You can do some filtering, but it's more free form. So DataViz is a bit more like conservative, classical kind of visualizations, where you see here already this like spiral graph, and so this is a bit more outlandish, but also, I mean, it's also just go to the website. Like, it's also just beautiful stuff. So in and of itself, it's actually really nice to just have a look at it. But then of course there's also really helpful information in there. So I can highly recommend this website as well. And then lastly, also quite often actually helpful is certain hashtags on Twitter, which you can just follow. Something like rstats for R information in general. Tidy Tuesday is this like weekly data set that becomes available. Also, we use, I think, one or twice for practicals or something, we've used data from Tidy Tuesday, and they always make a nice and tidy data set available, and then people visualize it. So it can also be really quite nice, and you can even try it yourself if you want to. You can participate, it's free of charge, it's just openly available, and you can try it yourself, some different forms of visualization, which can also really be a great training actually. That's it for this video, and I'll see you in the next one.